Steve, I guess you didn't see that one coming.
No, definitely not. We knew it would be a tough game, and the way the Blues have been playing, we know they were playing an expansive side, and they were pretty comfortable on the ball. But it wasn't something that we were, how can I say, it's something we felt we could handle. We knew there'd be opportunities for the Blues, but we felt if we keep the ball and we look after the ball and sort of tire them out a little bit when we got the ball and really push the boundaries around when we were playing. And then we felt that would take a little bit of them out in attack, but ultimately we just kept defending, and I think it's probably the first half of the game turned the ball over 70% of the time. I hate regurgitating stats, but ultimately we're inviting pressure on ourselves, and I thought the Blues dominated us at the breakdown. I thought their attitude and commitment in around that area was far greater than ours, and it reflects in the scoreline. I didn't think we showed enough fight or desire, in particular at half time. I think you could see maybe one or two were feeling a little bit sorry for themselves, and I think that represented in the first sort of 10 minutes of the second half, which is not too many times you see in around Osprey change rooms, if I'm brutally honest. And then even the back end, there's opportunities, even though the game is dead and buried, to probably get the 4 tries, which would be a crumb of comfort. But again, still the turnover rate, and again, I think the Blues breakdown work was far greater than ours.
Are the problems fixable, Steve?
Yeah, I think they're definitely fixable. It's something that we've got to get a bit of soul searching, I think, and around reflection and around what type of things we can put right. But I think an attitude thing is something that doesn't come across an Osprey performance very often, and that's something that really is deflating when you see that kind of performance. And even though the Blues were good in around their breakdown and the way they tried to play, but I think we're invited the Blues on. But it's something we know, miraculously, probably after losing 3 games in the bounce, we're still in the top 4. We've got Ulster coming to us, and I think there'll definitely be a reaction in around that, in particular in around our training weeks, and I think there'll be a lot of individual reviews and where we need to be, but ultimately we've got to have an attitude shift if we're going to have any chance against Ulster.
What have you just told the players?
Something similar. It's something that I think some of the non-learning over the last 3 weeks is a bit hard to take. You see the training weeks are decent. We seem to be doing the right things, saying the right things, but ultimately we've come out, and I thought, like I said, attitude shift, whatever you want. I think a couple of the boys felt for probably the first time we were bullied to the breakdown. I thought they were heavy, they were borderline illegal and some stuff, but I think that's where you've got to be. But they lived on the edge, and I didn't think we had that application, and the basic elements of our game weren't nowhere to be seen this weekend.
Obviously, see you've got a few key players missing. How much of a factor is that to the recent performances?
I think there's obviously a massive factor in some key players in around it, but like I just done a different interview, would be, look, when you're losing the likes of sort of Dimitri for large parts of the season, Alan Wynne, Bradley, even young Adam Beard in around the second row, Lydiat, Owen Watkin the whole season. I think where we really hit is the wings with Hassler, Dirksen, Eli, Ben John. These boys unavailable to us. It does hurt you, but it's something we've prided ourselves on, how a young group have delivered in around rotating the squad, and the group that's got us into this position is the young group. And I think there is some learning to take out of it in big games, knockout games, where we're just not performing, whether it be a game management type of thing against Stad, whether it be Treviso, understanding that sometimes things ain't going to go your way, and sticking to process and how you play the game, and you'll get out of it what you need. The Leinster game is one of those where you could win it, you could lose it. It's a 50-50 type of game. There's still moments where we could have been definitely better and maybe edged the game, but I thought it was a 50-50 game even before the start of it. And then today, it's something that's an attitude thing. I think a lot of it is. You can look at some of our attacking shape, maybe one or two things indeed, but ultimately you've got to set the tone in around these derby matches, and I thought the Blues done that. And I thought like I said, it's really disappointing when you feel that there was a little bit more desire from a team that can't get into the probably top 4.
Steve, how is Alan Jones, and will we see him back?
He's in around the group. He's then been doing a little bit of lifting, and I think everything in around his rehab is sticking at the minute. But again, Al's going to be at the centre of what we do. It won't be just a reaction on, well, we need him back and we're going to put him at risk. It'll be something that we'll do with the medical team and see where he's at for the last 2 games of the season.
Given what you said about the players' attitude today, potentially, could we see changes for the last game?
I think when probably the question before that, we haven't got a lot of opportunity to change people, and I think that does hinder us a little bit. And it's not, I think some of the boys, there may be an element of a little bit of fatigue in around some of the young boys. Some of them have been involved in camps and whatnot, but it's the learning. But ultimately you can't hide from the absolute disappointment of the position we were in before Treviso, where you'd like to think you'd go there, win the game. Leinster, it's like you're a kick away from winning that game, so there's 2 games there you'd like to think we could have got away with, but ultimately it's really tough to take when we feel, I think we've been manhandled in some aspects, and that isn't something that I think does represent the Ospreys, if I'm honest. So to answer your question, I don't think there would be too many changes, because I don't think we've got too many to make.
How difficult would it be to get out of this losing streak permanently?
I think it's difficult. I think it's something that, like last week, you need a little bit of the rub of the green, I think, in some aspects of it, but at the end of the day, no one's here to help us. No one's going to go, and there's no magic formula. We've got to go back, we've got to work harder, we've got to be smarter, we've got to take some of this learning on board, we've got to look at our preparation, whether it's a mindset, whether it's we're looking too far ahead, whether some people who are thinking about the playoffs and we haven't delivered in performances. It's something as coaches we look back at what we're presenting, how we're training. We've got 3 or 4 days now where we've got to take a long hard look at ourselves. I definitely think there'll be a huge reaction against Ulster, but there's going to be a quality Ulster team who are going to be desperate to knock us over, because it's going to be a real tight game, and it's like, again, it's sort of every game seems like a knockout game, and we don't seem to be getting that right at this minute in time.